Hello everyone. Welcome to another session of Out of the Box Developer. So today, actually, we are starting this new time at Tuesday. Here in Brazil, it's 6 p.m. What time is it on where you are, Sheila?
It's 11 o'clock in the evening.
11 o'clock. Okay. So yep, it's great to be here. I believe that it is better time for you, Chila. I feel better today. I think because it's Tuesday, maybe.
Yes,
Yes.
more or less the same, but
How are you today, Chila?
quite good. Yes, thank you, Hugo.
Great. So while we are having people joining us, yeah, if you are hearing us, watching us, please tell in the chat where you are from, what time is where you are, and if you are a Java developer, if you already had to program in JavaScript, or if you are a JavaScript developer and use Java, I think I want to know the experience of people that is watching us. So please tell on the chat, because today we decided to discuss about JavaScript, right? If you are if you are new here on this channel, most of us are Java developers, or it was a developer and now became some other roles on the company. And yeah, it was interesting because we see a lot of those um, uh, jokes regarding to the both languages, right? I think there's, I don't know, when we talk about Python in the past, I don't know how Python developers see Java developers and vice versa, but I know that Java is really present on the web applications, on web solutions, and we have a lot of interaction with JavaScript applications that is more present on the front end applications. And yeah, there was some some really fun jokes regarding to both between both developers. And how about you? What do you think, Gila?
About jokes
Yes.
and languages.
And,
Uh, yes, quite interesting because Java developers are thinking. I'm not sure if Java developers are really liking or how in how far they are using JavaScript. You know, um, if they are
nowadays.
using pure JavaScript or JavaScript within a framework. But I don't know exactly the relationship. If you as a backend developer, as a Java developer, you have to program all of a sudden you have to program in JavaScript. What's the best way to start with, or how to get into doing some JavaScript developer work?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
that's
an interesting question.
Yeah, that's a great question. I just want to say hello to Anderson. Hey, Anderson, good to see you here. Are you a Java developer, JavaScript developer, or any other language developer? Uh, and yeah, let me place a question here. Do you know a joke with Java or and JavaScript? Please share with us here. We see a lot of these in our day to day, and also in the internet. People love to fight between languages. They're like, I don't know, uh, like soccer teams. The people, some people is is too passionate regarding to the language. And yeah, while you do, hello, Anderson, and while we do wait here for people to start sharing and interacting with us, let's just place the question that Chila raised here, right? Regarding to learning maybe other languages, while you do already have some experience with one. It was, I don't know, I don't know about you, Chila, if uh, you had to learn your second language was actually JavaScript.
It was in the early days, when the whole thing started. And then I started with pure JavaScript to make some interaction in the browser, in a web application. That was my first contact with JavaScript. And it's also interesting that JavaScript and Java, they almost started at the same time. So it was around 1995 when Java first came out. James Gosling
Hmm.
created the language, and a few months later, JavaScript was created in connection with the Netscape browser, and then they just gave in some specification, which is ECMAScript, and then JavaScript is basically its implementation. But it's an interesting fact that the name is similar, but it's there are two completely separate languages. You cannot
Hmm.
compare it very easy because they are so different languages for different purposes. And also, they birthday somewhere next year. They both will be 30 years old.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know it will be in the same year. They will do the the birthdays, and the same time. Yeah, they exist. And yeah, you're right. JavaScript was pretty short after Java, and I'm not sure, but I think I read somewhere else that it was to actually to get the traction of the name Java, so they name it JavaScript for the language, so it can get
Yes.
the same traction. And yeah, all of this history is very interesting. Um, Anderson just shared here. I like JavaScript, but I hate. I am okay. But I think I feel the same for the most of the languages I touch. That there's something that we are not very happy with, right? That might be different. It would be great, and so on. So a lot of
Mhm.
trade-offs between them. Um,
Yes.
yeah, but for me, my interaction with JavaScript was after Java. But before Java, I already had in the university. I learned C++, not learn it, but I use it C++, and
Okay.
then learn
Yeah.
Java, and then I had to move to JavaScript because we are I was on the company and developing web applications. So
Mhm.
at some point we had to start developing the front end application, and in that time the first application was using Java for creating the front end, and then I did migrated from the JSF and all the Java components front end to totally separated architecture. So we had the front end application and the back end application separated,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was. I remember it was really challenging at the first time, very different. I think the point was understanding the life cycle. It's interesting because uh, I did develop web applications using Java, but I didn't had the understanding of the uh, client server go and forth and how it was working. So when we separated
Yeah.
it, I was completely lost on, oh, when does it start to run JavaScript on the browser and when it does finishes and in there. I remember all of this was unclear in the very beginning.
Yes.
And probably the very first thing I believe you, if you need to learn something on the front end, it is to understand this the whole life cycle of, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you are downloading an HTML that will have some reference to a script or a script
Yeah.
on the page, and then start running, interpret it, run, and then you run the render on the browser and so on. So I think that was the first interaction I had. Uh, was difficult at the first time, but then when you understand these things, these details start to be more natural.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's lots of other details on the languages that change a lot, right? Between Java
Yes.
and JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, but one thing that I believe, I don't know you, but one thing I believe it was, I felt easier. It was the way things was not typed in the beginning. So it was easier to change stuff and it was not typed. So you don't have to too much refactoring to change attributes or the names of stuff. It was simply or the type of the variable. It was simply no checks. But I suddenly also felt that uh, without this IDE compiling and checking the types for me, when you get bigger and bigger, it starts to become
Mm-hmm.
very troublesome to to troubleshoot stuff, right?
Yes, right.
Did you have such I don't know if you had such challenges on your day to day.
I don't remember
Oh,
actually
really?
because you know when I started with pure JavaScript, those were rather small applications or
Mm,
extension, not only HTML but something different, so that you have got a working web application, something you can show. And later, then I switched over to some frameworks, and then those frameworks were in place for everything else. You don't have to care about this and that. You can just concentrate on the logic or what you want to implement.
mm,
And someday, you know, there were single page applications. When they came in, then that was a time when all those frameworks appeared. First Angular JS, and then I was working after that with Vue.js for some time, and then started using Angular again. So that's more through the framework that I have got some connection to JavaScript.
I see. Yeah, that was another thing we got to, at least for JavaScript. I think same for Java, right? When
Mhm.
we do create the application, we there are some frameworks that also group the developers of those frameworks.
Mhm.
Like in Spring, we do in Java we do see Spring developers, Quarkus developers, and uh, I don't know others.
Mhm.
Um, I think we have the drop wizard and so on.
Mhm.
And yeah, and for JavaScript now we see the React, Angular,
Yeah,
Vue.
two,
I
yes.
know that there's Svelte and other component-based frameworks or libraries
Mhm.
that help us create application. Um, oh, Anderson just shared us some new Java specification looks like JavaScript. Oh yeah, that's true. Creation of the var keywords. Yeah,
Ah,
uh,
yes. Mhm.
and that's really, I don't know you if you have been using. I think var keyword was created around 17, Java 17, I think. Um, but and I have been using here to for some proof of concept Java 21, and yeah, it was much easier to write Java code than it was in the past with these new JDKs and new syntax sugar keywords, um, and yeah, it makes closer to what we had in JavaScript, um,
Mhm.
but still, what I feel really amazing on, uh, I think between those languages is the type check is really different, right?
Mhm.
Uh, we do have this type check naturally on the language. I was discussing with people here on our group. What is the yes? I think Java 17. Yeah, yeah, good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So this type check, I think, yeah, it's good to have type check in the end. That's why we have TypeScript, yeah, gaining a lot of traction, right? I think
Mhm.
a lot of repositories and applications and libraries in JavaScript are rereading in TypeScript, and I think people understand that. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That is helpful, although it's really cumbersome to write type stuff, right? It's a lot
Yes.
more things to type, but yeah, I think it's good for human programmers uh,
Mhm.
to keep control over the project, right? But yeah,
Yes.
so
Mhm.
go ahead.
You have to get used to it using TypeScript and all those typing things. But you know, you gain some kind of safety at least. Okay, at compile time, or you have something that is being checked, although it's not checked later, I guess, at runtime. But when you are typing it, then it gives some feedback to you. Okay, that's working or not, or it's some kind of check what's not bad to
Mhm.
use, I guess.
Good. I was thinking here if uh, we do have some comparison between those languages. Um, if you are watching us and have something that what 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 do you have, what do you think about JavaScript? I think a lot of people think that, oh, Java developers hate JavaScript because they always say that it's untyped, it's not a real language, and
Mhm.
so on. And JavaScript developers say a lot about Java that is too how can I say, to you have to write a lot of things to have to achieve small things. What what do you think? Hi, what do you do? Um, I can't read your name, but we do. I'm now a technical manager, and yep, I have been developing for 13 years already, and nowadays I'm uh, more involved with the architecture, application architecture, and generative AI stuff, creating
Mhm.
some solutions. And yeah, I don't know if do you want to say a bit about yourself, Chila?
Yes, it's the same thing. I have a software engineering background, and I am doing a little bit similar things like you go. So also software development, and right now mainly I'm doing backend development. I have backend projects, but at some stages I had to work more on front end stuff. And then I got connection to JavaScript as well, of course. And it's interesting because all those frameworks that we are using, they were started with pure JavaScript behind at the back, and now they were started with using TypeScript, for example. So they switched over to, I think, Vue.js in some later version.
Yeah.
from 3.
It's already using,
I
yeah,
think you have
it's
got
already it is already
experience
adopted
with
TypeScript.
Vue.js. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they started to build on TypeScript and also Angular. They're just going with TypeScript, and then you have to get used to it. So you have
Yeah.
got some typing aids, but yeah,
Well, so and yeah, I think both languages have their own how can I say own place to be used, right? I think it would be really difficult to write uh, um, to use Java in front end applications because of the dynamics of the front end. I think we do have JavaScript on the back end. Some people use Node.js.
Node.js, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, but I see, at least for bigger and corporate applications, I still see a lot of traction on those typed and strongly typed languages,
Mhm.
and yeah, I also understand why they prefer to use them, and yeah, so I think what that's that it's true that lots of people have some passion or or hate regarding to some languages, uh, but if you are a web developer and you actually need to interact with something in different environments, yeah, I think it's important to let this passion out and and do the job, right?
Mhm.
I think that was something a lot of people still. Oh, I if I had to work with. If I have to write Java codes, I wouldn't like to, I won't work with that. Or if I have to write JavaScript code, I will not work for you or something like that. I think it's
Uh-huh.
too harsh, right? We have to be more more open to learn new languages. That's not bad things to do,
Mhm.
and it at least for me it does create a lot of open my mind to different patterns, different ways to solve things.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was great. Anderson, you're saying here let and var JavaScript keywords. I think so crazy when I compare with other languages like oh yeah, Java, Go, and etc. Yes, yes. I there's I don't know if you do you have some something that was tricky on any of the languages, Chila, that you think it's I don't know, weak things regarding to because of the language at least.
Mhm. I don't remember because both languages have some tricky things when you have some specific problem. But right now, all of the sudden, I cannot uh, tell any example. Okay,
Oh yeah.
it was
So okay, so
impossible.
let me start with that. At least
Yeah,
I had
okay.
some experience
Yeah.
with the both languages, and uh, I see what Anderson's saying about oh Latin var are crazy things, and they really are. I think when we do think about context and scope in JavaScript, that's sometimes it's really tricky, right? It's not like Java classes and stuff that is well
Mhm.
structured. So you know exactly in which what is the context of each of the variables, each of the instances of that object, and when we do JavaScript, it is a different concept regarding to the scope. Uh, you can access things outside the scope. You do create every time that you instantiate things. You can at the moment you instantiate things, you can access the things that is on the accessible for that in the place that you are instantiated. So yeah, that's something really tricky too. I forgot the name of the of that scope inside within JavaScript. It was there was a cool name. I forgot that. JavaScript scope. Uh, I forgot the.
Mhm.
Yeah, I forgot. I would have to search it again to find
Mhm.
it. But yeah, that was the JavaScript one JavaScript tricky things. It is this kind of
Ah, yeah, sure.
principle.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One thing that is really that is very connected with that is when you do some when you give some action to the button and you believe that you are in the context of the place that you gave the action for the button, but actually the context it is in the place that you call the function. So it's a different scope. So you lose the you the this keyword it
Oh,
does change the
yeah,
value,
you're
right?
right.
It depends on the where you do call it. So yeah, that's really tricky to understand the first time.
Ah, yes, and there have been some workarounds, this and that, and you name it, and then
Yeah,
outside,
yeah, exactly,
and then
exactly.
inside you are using, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
That's
because
it.
we have this trick in JavaScript, right? When we do have to attribute the current this and for
Mhm.
some variable, and then you don't lose the reference for that moment context. Yeah,
Mhm. Ah,
that
yes, that
was
was
challenge
something.
something there. But okay, let's not just tell we are Java developers, and I think also in Java we have lots of things that is challenging too, right? That is
Mhm.
odd for JavaScript developers to understand or to start using Java. Um, well, at least the thing that everyone say about is to be to have to write a lot, right? To have small things done. Um, but what do you think about that? Do you think it's still at that state in Java?
I think it's progressing because you had, for example, yes, earlier you had to write much more in Java, public static void main, for example, for the main function to be carried out. And if you try to explain it to someone who is new to Java, how to understand it, it was maybe difficult. And right now, with the latest version, it's much easier. You don't need all those keywords. And in many other places, you can abbreviate things. So I think Java is developing uh, with every new version. Something is coming that making your life a little bit easier, or you can express yourself in a more compact way. So you don't need to
Yeah.
write as much as you used to write. So it's a slow progress, but it's progressing, and Java's developing. So I like that, and you have got that life cycle twice a year. You have got a new version.
Oh yeah, that's also thing that have changed, right? I've having these shorter cycles, I think,
Mhm.
helped a lot to deliver more or have access to more features, more
Yes.
updated features, and yeah, I have been using this var keyword on Java, and yeah, it does saves a lot of typing, right? I think it still have type check, but it's syntax sugar because you are attributing something and it gets the same type of the things
Mhm.
that you are attributing to the variable, and really useful. We do think it was. it's just a syntax sugar, but yeah, it's different. The experience that it delivers when you're typing, and yeah, you don't have to repeat the type of the things that you are attributing to that
Mm.
to that variable. At least for me, have been working better. So what else we had? What else we have here that we can talk about JavaScript for Java developers? What can help? What do you think? If you have any questions as well, Chilip, you can ask, of course. But I don't know. I was thinking. I don't know if Anderson have any question. If you or anyone that is watching us have any question that would like to ask. Um, um, yeah, because I've been working with JavaScript as well as with Java for a couple of years. I had experience with jQuery, Knockout.js, and then React, and now Vue.js, but Vue.js not so much, just and understanding most of the concepts
Mhm.
was inherited from what I learned with React. So yeah, I think if you have any question, would be great to be helping you.
Mhm. So, how would you start with JavaScript if you are a Java developer? Do-
Okay, yeah, good, good thing for now. And that's a good question because I haven't finished it yet, but I started to write an ebook to help exactly backend developers start writing front-end developers because I see a lot of people that is struggling with that, right? That starts complaining lots of things regarding to Java to the language or the features that is different from what you know, what you learned,
Mhm.
and I was also I understand that feelings, and the best advice maybe is to throw out what if you learned something different from the from the object oriented things and yeah and strongly typed stuff. Uh, Give a moment with everything that you learned. Open your mind to learn something different, with different concepts, different patterns. Uh, I think that's the first thing that you have to do. Start
Mhm.
to stop complaining, understand that it's something different and has some different life cycles and different concerns that it addresses. And then do a deep breath and then start understanding the basics of the fundamentals
Yeah,
of the
sure.
of the language.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it would be the first advice I would give, and then I think the very basic structure of function calling, the variable attributing variables, the loops, the some functions for arrays, for example, and there is default for JavaScript arrays. Um, Especially when we are talking about map, reduce, it is really useful. Not the same implementation, not the same way it works for as work in Java, but it's useful
Mhm.
method, useful functions, and then the scope thing that's really important
Mhm.
uh, to not get tricked by the context. I think that was the
Yes.
first
Mhm.
stuff. And then if you're implementing some web application, so the front end things, uh, I would be understanding this life cycle of your application. So my application will start here when I do call this HTML, and then it will start downloading your JavaScript or interpreting your JavaScript and run it. Um, and there's lots of other ecosystem. If you are building your front end with uh, with, with different libraries, if you have dependencies, you will probably be using something like Node.js and modules to compose your application, to use those libraries. So when we do create web applications, bigger web applications, it's very common to use to let me say to define the dependencies, transpile it first, and then it will have you have the end JavaScript that will be sent to the browser. So that was another thing. It was different in the past, but now I think now it's really common to have this life cycle. It's the same way. In the same way, we do compile stuffs and using Maven or Gradle behind our Java applications,
Mhm.
and we do use POM XML or POM XML or the Gradle file. We do write the dependencies. We do download the dependencies, and when we want, we do build our application. And differently from what we have in Java, that is that we do compile and to JVM bytecode that will run on the somewhere with the runtime. For JavaScript, we don't compile stuff; we just transpile. What it means, uh, we do rewrite, create a script that will have everything, every dependencies that you have imported in your application, and we'll create a single or a lot of chunks of that script, resulting script, and then you send all these scripts for the browser to be run during the execution of the front end. So yeah, when we start to talk about the life cycle, we see a lot of steps, right? It's a bit different, and it's good too, actually. Okay, throw out your language ecosystem because it's a different ecosystem, and you have to understand this life cycle all together,
Mhm.
and then start understanding what you're doing for from the scratch. I think it's a great thing. Uh, yeah, but yeah, that is if you want to know what is going on your application. Sometimes we do. It's very common to not start something from zero. It's very common to start with some existing application,
Mhm.
and also good to have this understanding of the pieces of the life cycle, so you can, when you have a problem, you know when it is on the when it builds, transpiling, when it's run on the browser, or whatever else. Okay, so yeah,
Mhm.
that's good point.
Yes, those are good tips, Hugo. So if you are ready with your book, then I am happy to read it.
Yeah, I have to
To refresh everything.
I have to dedicate some time. Yeah, I do confess myself taking
Mhm.
longer than I expected to stop writing
Yeah.
things and deliver it. But yeah, once I get it done, I will distribute somewhere.
Mhm. But sure, you don't have to start with zero if you are a Java developer because you already know all the concepts. You have to understand life cycle, how it's working, and understand the differences, and then it's easier to start with. And
Yeah,
maybe
and one
with a concrete project, a little
yes,
side project or something example just to
yes,
begin.
yes. Good thing. Yeah, exactly. If you do some small things, you small a very small application, you visit the most of the important components that will make up the web application, so the
Mm.
front end, and you will visit that all the details. One very interesting difference between JavaScript and Java is the that JavaScript we can actually function is something on the uh, native type on the JavaScript, right? You can attribute a function for an attribute. You can send it as anywhere else as an argument, and so on. we now do see the function object in Java, so it quite works really similar. And now we can actually define those that syntax sugar that we can just write an arrow function. I don't know if it's called arrow function for Java as well, but for JavaScript, it was the arrow function syntax.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was available from the beginning in JavaScript, and it is really nice uh, to be using functions as an object
Yeah.
for the language, right? I think it will provide that uh, um, how can I say? I can it's not exactly functional stuff, but it provides you a better way to write some behaviors or inherit or
Mhm.
customize things just by giving a function for the that will be used inside your method, your function.
Mhm. There is one thing I wanted to ask. You know, in Java, you have got that those microservices. So you try to
Uh,
structure your program so that you don't have that monolith. So there was a direction into direction microservices, and you and theoretically, as far as I know, you could have the same for a front end, so micro front ends. I'm not sure whether you have got the experience with it, Hugo.
yes,
Micro front end because it might
I
be
think
more
yeah,
complicated than you think
yes,
to put it
I
together.
believe it is. I don't know if someone here that is watching us had opportunity to work with micro front ends. The idea behind micro front end is to actually, as we do separate the microservices, the backend application in small services, so they can be isolated, independent, and being managed independently. So they have their own life cycle, own thing that will be giving maintenance for that microservices. It is to extend the separation to the front end as well. So you don't just because we can have the microservices in the backend, and we have the discussion was to we do have a big front-end application that will consume APIs from many different microservices. So
Mhm.
the idea for micro front-end is to cut the front end in the same way we do, not necessarily in the same way, but in some smaller pieces, so you can actually uh, just download that piece to compose your page, and it will be using specific API on the backend that will be separated by their domain or and then you can stay separated things and can have the same benefits of being delivering, having this separated life cycle. But the point is for the front end application, I had tried this approach for some applications when we are on a walk, and yeah, besides in theory it's beautiful, in practice it's really difficult to have the sometimes you want some at some point you want something that may stay consistent in the whole in all the things in all the applications, and sometimes you want to be more efficient on the dependencies that you use on the things that
Mhm.
you're using between those front end components. And difficult things is to be if you do isolate everything and you do have some libraries that is used by two different components, but it's some I don't know, some bigger libraries. So you start to have bloated results,
Yeah.
or if you try to reuse something, there's a lot of complexity to manage it because because you don't have the single thing that will be managing the dependencies and sharing the same dependencies between the two different components. So
Yeah, sure.
yes, that be a lot, bring a lot of complexity when you try micro front end approach. But for some applications, it does make sense, and also depends on the way that you can cut the front end between the domains. So yeah, depends a lot on your
Mhm.
context, right? Um,
Yes, right.
I think the story is the same for microservices. That lots of people move it to microservices, but they are more moved by the hype of microservices than actually doing the right trade-off, right? Between okay, what I do win by going to microservices, it does actually pay off. All the other complexities that microservices bring by managing it separately, distributed stuffs, distributed complexities, and so on. So yeah, I think the story does repeat on the front end as well.
Yeah, sure. That versioning, libraries sharing, I think that's one of the difficulties in front end. Where
So one thing that I see people are starting to talk a lot about is by using modules instead of microservices, also in the backend. And I think at that point it's still the same idea domain, but not so uh, so small services. It's
yeah,
a bigger thing, but still on their domain, on still separated by their domain. And yeah, I'm seeing a lot of better feedback. I think they start to find some optimal size for the microservices that people are always talking about, right?
yeah.
But yeah, micro front ends, I I don't know you guys that is watching us. I would do a lot of a serious trade-off because the complexity of managing things, managing the version of the dependencies as well, it's quite complex and might have lots of challenges if you want uh, to be performatic and you want to reuse some component that is used for all the micro front ends and you want to share it. So start to be lots of challenge with that, especially if that library have some states, and so you have to share the state of that of the things that your library manages, of that my library manages. So that's one challenge that we had, and yeah, so stay aware of that. You're gonna be facing lots of challenges. It's not so
Mhm.
straightforward to work with that. Although we have a lot of libraries that actually help you implement micro front end applications. Um, I forgot the name of that. Let me see if I find it. But why I do some quick finding here? If you have any other questions, or if the audience have any other questions,
Mhm.
yeah, it's single SPA. If you want to read
Okay.
more, yeah.
So you're looking for something, Hugo?
Oh, I send on the chat if people want to.
Uh-huh.
Uh, well, on my time, I use a single SPA for some
Okay. Yes.
trials,
Now I see it.
but might be a bit outdated. I'm not sure. So yeah, just to share with you, let's see how the GitHub repository we got into the updates. Yeah, quite a long time without update. The release was on February, okay, of this year. Um, but the commit was quite a long time ago, so I don't know if still
Hmm.
working on it or people just move it for some different solution. Let me see. I felt so old by revisiting it. Yeah, no commits on this month, so I think looks like it's not maintained anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we do. I do remember that Angular also provides something regard to federated modules. Uh, and
Yeah,
it's
there have been
oh,
something, but
that, that's an interesting point because you can see how different it is, some complexities when we are talking about Java and the backend world and JavaScript in the front end world. Um, uh, and yeah, it's good to know both the words because and when you understand these differences, I think it helped me to understand okay why things work like that or why things are done like that and so on.
mhm.
So I think uh, you start maybe just accepting the things as they are and complain less. And I
Yeah.
think that's that's one. At least when I do talk with my mentees or my people that work with me, the developers that work with me, I see that there are people that is just starting things and they complain a lot about some tool technology and someone that's already more experienced, they already accept easier,
Mhm.
quicker the things as they are. So I think it's a
Yeah.
sign of some
Mhm.
some kind of maturity when when you when you start when you have this interaction.
Yeah. Mhm. Maybe one more interesting thing, what I want to ask about market share. You know, how Java developed and how JavaScript developed during the time.
Yeah,
And I found a video. I just
I found. Yeah,
paste the news. Just try to paste the link to the chat. So that video shows how um, programming languages have been developed during
let's
time.
see.
So not only Java and JavaScript.
How
Ah,
was
yes,
the?
that one exactly. Do you need? I can paste it in.
How can I click on that? Can
I pasted it into the other chat. You go
let's
if
see.
it's
Okay,
better.
let me see if I can actually.
It's a small visualization I found on data is beautiful YouTube site, and I found it quite interesting.
Let's see the latest updates here. Oh, so oh no, I think I just want to get the last numbers. Okay. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, I just trying to get here, and yeah, still very popular. Let's see if I can uh,
Mm-hmm.
share the screen here. So here in the end, 2022, we see uh, lots of Python on the first place, JavaScript. I don't know how they grab this
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
analysis. Let's see here.
That's a question based on popularity, or some other measures, or maybe developers were saying, okay, I'm using that programming language and that programming language, you know,
Yeah,
but
and they
you
got
have to
multiple
verify the
surveys.
source.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. I think we had also let's see some. Oh, let me just go up here. Where is the here? Uh, I always forget the. I think the survey from Stack Overflow. I think it's a great one
Uh-huh.
as well to be using as a reference. Let's see the 33. Uh, where is the languages? I'm trying to find the languages here. Sorry.
Okay. I
We
will
can see
find.
here professional
Um,
developers or developer profile,
hmm.
technology. Yes, and here's interesting for Stack Overflow, JavaScript in the first place, HTML, CSS, Python, SQL, TypeScript, Bash, then Java, C Sharp, C++, C. So
Mhm.
yeah, uh, both the languages are in the very top, and we see, and of course here also very interesting thing is that they separated TypeScript with JavaScript, so they are really expressive, right? So uh, we can join both because if you can uh, if you know JavaScript, you can say that you know TypeScript and vice versa. So yeah, they are very lots of people using it. We have also separated for professional developers, and still the same thing. Other coders that is not professional or not learning to code, we have different um, um, order, but yeah, very similar. Not a big change here, and yeah, good thing that
Mhm.
they are both really high, and yeah, JavaScript and TypeScript. Understand because yeah, we have lots of web applications to be giving support, maintaining, and lots of libraries, and they change a lot of things. So yeah, that's a good thing to be
Mhm.
looking after. Um, oh, and if you're curious about JavaScript, although we do a lot of difference on the languages, if you would like to, oh, it's Clojure, yeah, the name I was trying to find is Clojure. So, if you're trying to understand a bit better JavaScript, they have lots of I don't know if it's I think it's because it is web a web script languages, so they have lots of documentation on the web that helps you uh, learn the language. But the best sources I ever use it here is the MDN, the Mozilla developers
Mhm.
documentation. They have tutorial, complete beginners, and so on. So I think pretty complete things. You don't have to do everything here, but if you want to understand a bit further or the fundamentals of the language, here's a good place to actually being visiting. And I think one thing that we don't have much on the Java environment is the control is the lack of the control regarding to the versions that will be running your code. That's a really complex challenges we find when we do use JavaScript on browsers, because if you have an open um, end users that can run your application, you are dealing with lots of different browsers versions, and they have different support for the JavaScript language. You don't control like when Java, you can tell, oh, you can run it on Java 8 and forward, or you can run it only on Java 17, and people accept that that they will install a newer version of Java JDK, and then JRE, and then they run the application on the browsers. Not true for the every time. So I think a very useful tool I've been using while I was working with JavaScript, it was the Can I Use. So here uh, you can look after some API, and it will tell you which version of the browsers that support that feature on the browser. So that's that's something. If you are developing a web application, you will fall into these kind of challenges as well. So
Mhm.
I think that's really useful to be aware of. Yep, and I think they also have JS. Uh, uh, I was trying to find another resource that you can be looking if you want to do quick research of the latest tools and things that JavaScript does have lots of uh, how can I say of libraries being released all the time. So if you want to be following it, I uh, uh, where is it? Where is it? Oh, I lost the reference here. I had a good one, but I was a long time ago. I haven't been accessing it, using it these days. Yeah, I'll be. Uh, I will have to to find it later to share here. But okay, I think that's stuff that's interesting to be sharing with you.
Mhm.
Yeah, Chila. So I think last things to be. Oh, I should have sharing on the chat, right? Those the both tools. So here is the Stack Overflow link, and we have also the. And I don't know you, but I have good time playing with front end stuff,
Uh-huh.
seeing things happening, and trying to figure out how to create good architecture for to maintain a front end application was challenging. Uh, but yeah, learned a lot from that, from these experiences. And you, if you are just starting or already working in, and you are on the web application field, I totally recommend you to understand at least the basics of of JavaScript, not just to create front end, but also to design things that and help your team with more experienced point of view. Yeah, because there's a lot of lot regarding to architecture challenges that it is difficult to understand if you don't have much experiences creating front end applications. So yeah, that's one thing
Mhm.
I totally recommend to go after. How about you, Chila? What do you
Yes,
think
for sure. I think it's always good not just to focus on one technology, but if you are trying to learn some other technologies as well, then you have got a more complete picture, and then you can probably, as you said, you can make a better architectural decision how you do things if you have experience with uh, more technologies or more, you know, more areas, then it's easier.
Cool. Yeah, so I think that's all for today. Maybe we had already 1 hour of the session, and yeah, if you had some topic that you would like to that we do bring here, please share with us. Put it on the comments, and if you and also give us a feedback if the time or the day Tuesday was good timing for you. I don't know. For me, it worked better, but
Mhm.
I don't know you, Chila. I think
Yes, for me also it works good. So
we're gonna be keeping this time
same
for the
time,
next sessions. Yep.
different day. Yes, sure.
Unfortunately, lot of our friends couldn't be join us today. I don't know if it was um, because of the change, but let's see. Let's see if the next time we have more people join the discussion as well.
Hmm. Sure.
So okay. Yes. So I think that's it. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you
Hmm.
on the next session.
Thank you all and see you. Bye.